The space station shook as another meteor hit its shields. Olivia Reeves grabbed the wall to steady herself. She was the commander of this mission to Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. Her team had come to study strange energy readings coming from beneath the icy surface. Status report. Olivia called into her comm device. Shields holding at 60%. Commander, replied Brooke, her science officer. But we should finish our work quickly. The meteor shower is getting worse. Olivia nodded even though Brooke couldn't see her. Understood. How's the drilling going? We've almost reached the source of the energy. You might want to come see this. Olivia made her way through the narrow corridors of the station. The walls were plain metal, functional rather than pretty. The station wasn't built for comfort. It was built for work. When she reached the main lab, she found her team gathered around a large screen. The screen showed a live feed from their drilling robot deep beneath Europa's ice. What am I looking at? Olivia asked as she joined them. Brooke pointed to a shape on the screen. That, Commander. We think it's a ship. Olivia leaned closer. The shape was smooth and clear like glass or crystal. It glowed with a soft blue light. It didn't look like any ship humans had ever built. Alien? She whispered. It seems so, Brooke said. And there's more. Look. The camera zoomed in on the crystal ship. Through its clear walls, they could see inside. There, floating in what looked like glowing water, was a humanoid figure. It looked female with a slim body and long, flowing hair. But her skin wasn't a human color. It shifted and changed like the northern lights on Earth, glowing with blues, greens, and purples. Is she alive? Olivia asked. Dr. Kathy Wells, their medical officer, checked some readings. There are energy patterns consistent with life, but not like any life we know. She could be in some kind of sleep state. Olivia made a quick decision. We need to get down there. Prepare a team. Full protection gear. We don't know what we're dealing with. An hour later, Olivia led a small team through the tunnel their robot had drilled. The ice walls glowed blue from their lights. Their breath fogged in front of them despite their heated suits. Temperature rising, Brooke said, checking her scanner. The ship seems to be giving off heat. As they got closer, the ice tunnel opened into a large cave. The crystal ship sat in the center, glowing softly. It was bigger than it had looked on the screen, about the size of a small house. No obvious entrance, Olivia noted as they walked around it. The ship's surface was smooth, with no seams or doors that they could see. Brooke waved her scanner over the ship's surface. The material is unlike anything in our database. It seems to be both solid and fluid at the same time. Olivia reached out a hand toward the ship. Commander, I wouldn't... Brooke started to say, but it was too late. As Olivia's gloved hand touched the crystal surface, it rippled like water. A section of the wall seemed to melt away, creating an opening. It responded to human touch, Brooke said, her voice filled with wonder. Or maybe it was ready for us, Olivia replied. She switched on her helmet light and looked at her team. I'm going in. Dr. Wells, you're with me. The rest of you stay here and maintain contact. Olivia stepped through the opening, feeling a slight resistance, like walking through thick air. Inside, the ship was even stranger. The walls curved in ways that didn't make sense, like they were seeing more dimensions than should be possible. Everything glowed with the same soft blue light. The air inside seemed breathable according to their scanners, so Olivia took a risk and removed her helmet. The air smelled fresh with a hint of something like cinnamon. Fascinating, Dr. Wells said as she also removed her helmet. The technology here is beyond anything we've ever seen. They moved deeper into the ship, finding rooms that seemed to change shape as they walked through them. Nothing looked like human technology. There were no buttons, screens, or controls that they could recognize. In the center of the ship, they found a large circular room. In the middle was a pool of the glowing liquid they had seen from outside. The humanoid figure floated in it, still and peaceful. Life signs are stronger here, Dr. Wells said, checking her scanner. I think she's in some kind of suspended animation. As they watched, the liquid began to move. It swirled around the figure and then began to drain away, leaving the alien being lying on what looked like a crystal bed. Her skin continued to shift colors, but now they could see her clearly. She looked surprisingly human, except for her color-changing skin and slightly larger eyes. Her hair floated around her as if still underwater, though the liquid was gone. Suddenly, her eyes opened. They were silver with no pupils, and they fixed directly on Olivia. The alien sat up quickly, her movements graceful but alarmed. She was completely naked, her body uncovered as the last of the liquid drained away. Her shock at seeing Olivia and Dr. Wells was clear on her face. Olivia held up her hands to show she meant no harm. "We come in peace," she said, knowing the alien probably couldn't understand her words but hoping her tone would be clear. The alien's skin flashed with bright colors, and the room around them changed. Symbols appeared on the walls, glowing and moving like living things. "She's trying to communicate," Dr. Wells whispered. The alien stood up, seemingly untroubled by her nakedness. She moved toward them with smooth steps, her silver eyes never leaving Olivia's. When she was just a few feet away, she raised her hand, palm out, mirroring Olivia's earlier gesture. Then she spoke. The sound was like music, rising and falling in ways human speech didn't. "I can't understand you," Olivia said. The alien tilted her head, then touched her own throat. She made another sound, this one simpler, then another and another as if testing her voice. Then, to Olivia's shock, the alien spoke again, but this time the words were almost recognizable. "Earth, people, you find me." "She's learning our language just by hearing us speak," Dr. Wells said, amazed. The alien nodded. "Learn fast, must warn." "Warn us?" Olivia asked. "About what?" The alien's skin darkened to deep blues and purples. "Danger, coming for all." Before she could say more, the ship shuddered around them. The alien looked up, her face showing what could only be described as fear. "Too late," she said, her voice clearer now. "They found us." Olivia's comm device crackled to life. "Commander!" It was Brooke's voice, filled with panic. "Something's happening up here. There's a ship. It just appeared in orbit around Europa. It's massive, Commander, and it's not responding to any of our signals." The alien princess grabbed Olivia's arm, her touch sending a strange tingling sensation through Olivia's body. "We must go," the alien said urgently. "Now or die." 3 days passed since they rescued the alien from Europa. They brought her to Earth on their ship, hiding her from most of the crew. Only Olivia, Dr. Wells, and Brooke knew the full truth. The others were told it was a new type of technology they had found, too secret to discuss. The alien now wore a simple blue jumpsuit they had given her. She sat in a secure room at Earth Coalition headquarters, surrounded by screens and scientific equipment. Her skin still shifted colors, though less dramatically than before. Right now it glowed a soft purple. Dr. Amelia Sutton, the team's language expert, worked with the alien every day. Progress was fast. The alien learned English at an amazing speed. She could now speak in full sentences, though her voice had a musical quality that was not human. "Your name," Dr. Sutton said. "Can you tell us your name now?" The alien's skin flickered blue for a moment. "My name does not translate well to your sounds. In my language I am called by a tone." She made a sound like crystal bells ringing. "We need something to call you," Olivia said. She had been watching from the side of the room. "The patterns on your skin remind me of star patterns," Brooke added. "Maybe we could call you Lyra." "It's a constellation, a group of stars in our sky." The alien considered this, then nodded. "Lyra will be acceptable for now." Olivia stepped forward. "Lyra, you said there was danger coming. We need to know what kind of danger." Lyra's skin darkened. "It is difficult to explain in your language. There are beings, not like me, not like you. They do not have solid form as we understand it. They feed on energy, special energy that comes from thinking beings like humans." "Like souls?" Dr. Wells asked. "No, more like the energy of conflict, of fear and anger and pain. They harvest it from civilizations. They have done this for millions of years." Olivia frowned. "And they're coming here? To Earth?" "They are already here," Lyra said. Everyone in the room went still. "They have been here for many of your years, preparing." "Preparing for what?" Brooke asked. "The harvest." Lyra stood up and walked to a screen showing Earth. "My people call them the Void Harvesters. They find worlds with intelligent life and they farm them. They create conflict. They make the beings fight each other. The energy this creates feeds them. That's why you were sent here?" Olivia asked. "To warn us?" Lyra turned to face them.
"I am Vexalia, heir to the Luminarch Dominion."
"My people rule 3 galaxies. We have fought the Harvesters for eons. I was sent to find Earth because we detected their presence here. But my ship was damaged passing through the barrier they placed around your solar system. I crashed on your moon Europa and entered sleep state until I could be rescued." The room was quiet as everyone took in this information. Finally, Olivia spoke. How do we find these harvesters if they don't have physical form? They take physical form to manipulate worlds, Vexalia explained. On Earth, they look human. They have placed themselves in positions of power. They create wars, build weapons, spread hate, all to generate the energy they feed on. Dr. Wells looked skeptical. You're saying some of our leaders are actually aliens? Not aliens as you understand the term. They are energy beings wearing human form. They can look like anyone. Olivia crossed her arms. How can we identify them? You cannot. Not without help. Vexalia's skin glowed brighter. But I can. And there may be humans who can learn to see them too. What do you mean? Brooke asked. Some humans have a genetic structure similar to my people. It was why we noticed your world. These humans may be able to sense the harvesters with training. Before anyone could ask more questions, the door opened. Captain Samantha Wells of the Earth Coalition flagship Horizon entered. She was tall with short blonde hair and a stern face. Commander Reeves, she said to Olivia, we need to talk privately. Olivia nodded and followed Captain Wells into the hallway. When the door closed, the captain spoke in a low voice. The Coalition leadership is concerned about your alien visitor. They want her moved to a more secure facility. She's not a threat, Captain. She's here to help us. That remains to be seen. Captain Wells handed Olivia a tablet. These are new orders. A transport will arrive tomorrow to take her to the lunar base. Olivia looked at the orders with growing concern. The lunar base is a military research facility. They'll treat her like a lab specimen. Those are the orders, Commander. From the highest level. After Captain Wells left, Olivia returned to the room. Vexalia looked at her with those strange silver eyes. They are taking me away, she said. It wasn't a question. How did you know that? Olivia asked. I can sense your concern, and I expected this. The harvesters know I am here now. They will want to isolate me. You think the orders came from them? From the harvesters? Vexalia nodded. Almost certainly. We do not have much time. Later that night, Olivia couldn't sleep. She paced in her quarters thinking about Vexalia's words. Could it be true? Were there really energy beings pretending to be human, creating wars and conflicts to feed on the energy? It seemed impossible. Yet she had seen Vexalia's ship, technology far beyond human understanding. Her comm device beeped. It was Brooke. Commander, you need to come to the lab right away. When Olivia arrived, she found Brooke staring at a screen showing security camera footage. What am I looking at? Olivia asked. I was reviewing old footage looking for anything unusual around the time Vexalia said these harvesters came to Earth. Brooke pointed to the screen. Look at this. The footage showed a political rally from 10 years ago. A speaker stood on a stage addressing a large crowd. As Olivia watched, something strange happened. For just a second, the speaker's image seemed to flicker, revealing a dark, shadowy form underneath. It could be a glitch in the recording, Olivia said, but her voice lacked conviction. I found dozens of these glitches in footage of high-ranking officials and business leaders. Always just for a split second. Always showing the same kind of shadow form. Olivia felt cold. Show me more. For the next hour, they watched footage showing the same phenomenon. Politicians, military leaders, CEOs, all occasionally showing a glimpse of something inhuman underneath their appearance. She was telling the truth, Olivia whispered. Their research was interrupted by an alarm. Red lights flashed in the hallway. Security breach in Section 7, announced a voice over the speakers. All personnel report to designated safe areas. That's where Vexalia is being kept, Olivia said. They ran to the security monitors and saw armed soldiers entering the secure room where Vexalia had been. But the room was empty. Where is she? Brooke asked. Before Olivia could answer, her comm device beeped again. The message was from Dr. Wells. We're in the East Service Tunnel, hurry. Olivia and Brooke found Dr. Wells and Vexalia hiding in a maintenance room off the service tunnel. Vexalia's skin was dark blue, almost black. They came for me earlier than expected, she said. They will search the entire facility. Who were those soldiers? Olivia asked. They appear to be your Earth Coalition forces, but they are controlled by the harvesters. We must leave this place now. Olivia made a quick decision. There's a transport ship in the lower bay. We can use it to get to the horizon. Captain Wells may help us if I can explain the situation. Can she be trusted? Dr. Wells asked. I don't know. But we don't have many options. They made their way through the service tunnels to the lower bay. Twice they had to hide from search parties. Finally, they reached the transport ship. "I can fly this," Brooke said. "But where exactly are we going?" "The horizon is in orbit," Olivia replied. "We'll request emergency docking." As they prepared to board the transport, Vexalia suddenly grabbed Olivia's arm. "Wait, I sense something." The doors to the bay opened and Captain Wells walked in with 2 security officers. Their weapons were drawn. "Commander Reeves," Captain Wells said, her voice cold. "You are interfering with a direct order. Step away from the alien." Olivia stepped in front of Vexalia. "Captain, you don't understand. There's something happening that's bigger than all of us." "I understand perfectly," Captain Wells replied. Then for just a moment her image flickered, revealing a dark shadow underneath. Her eyes glowed red for a split second before returning to normal. Vexalia spoke quietly behind Olivia. "She is one of them." Lieutenant Grace Harlow checked her weapon as she stood guard outside Vexalia's new quarters. It had been 2 weeks since the dramatic escape from Earth. Olivia, Brooke, Dr. Wells, and Vexalia had managed to get away from Captain Wells, or whatever was pretending to be Captain Wells, by using Vexalia's strange abilities. She had created a burst of light so bright that it temporarily blinded their pursuers. They made it to a different ship than planned and fled Earth, seeking refuge with a small group of coalition scientists who worked at a secret research station orbiting Mars. The station was led by Dr. Kimberly Taylor, an old friend of Dr. Wells who agreed to help them after hearing their story. Now they were trying to figure out their next move while staying hidden from both the harvesters and the coalition forces who were hunting them as deserters. Grace shifted her position, feeling tired after her long shift. The door to Vexalia's quarters opened and the alien stepped out. She looked more human now, her skin set to a steady tan color rather than shifting through the rainbow. Only her silver eyes gave away her non-human nature. "Lieutenant Harlow," Vexalia said with a slight nod, "you should rest. You have been standing guard for many hours." "I'm fine," Grace replied. "Commander Reeves asked me to make sure you're safe, and that's what I'll do." "You do not trust me," Vexalia observed. Grace hesitated. "It's not that. It's just, this is all very hard to believe. Energy beings disguised as humans, harvesting our emotions. It sounds like something from a fiction story, yet you are here helping us. I trust Commander Reeves. If she believes you, that's good enough for me." Vexalia stepped closer. "May I show you something, Lieutenant? Something that might help you understand." Grace's hand moved instinctively toward her weapon. "What do you mean?" "I can share knowledge directly. Through touch. It is how my people communicate important information quickly. You want to, read my mind? No, I want to share my mind with yours. Just for a moment. To show you the truth." Grace hesitated, then slowly nodded. "All right. But any funny business and I'll—" Her words cut off as Vexalia reached out and touched her hand. The contact lasted only a second, but to Grace it felt like hours. Images flooded her mind, vast spaces between stars, worlds with strange landscapes, beings of pure energy moving through the void, centuries of war between the Luminarch and the Harvesters, the fall of civilizations across countless worlds. Grace collapsed to her knees, overwhelmed by the flood of information. When she looked up, her eyes had a silver shine to them, just like Vexalia's. "What did you do to me?" she whispered. "I showed you the truth," Vexalia replied, "but something unexpected happened. Your mind was more receptive than most humans. You received more than I intended to share." Grace stood up shakily. "I can see them now," she said. "The Harvesters. I can feel their presence." "This is unusual," Vexalia said, studying Grace with interest. "It seems you have a genetic structure very compatible with Luminarch consciousness patterns. You are what we call a resonant." Before they could discuss this further, an alarm sounded throughout the station. Red lights flashed in the corridor. "Unidentified ships approaching," announced a voice over the station's comm system. "All personnel to battle stations." Grace and Vexalia ran to the command center, where they found Olivia and the others looking at a large screen showing several ships approaching the station. "Coalition vessels," Brooke said. "They found us. How?" Dr. Wells asked. "This station isn't on any official records." "The Harvesters have many ways to track us," Vexalia said. "We must assume they control much of your coalition's resources now." Olivia turned to Dr. Taylor. "How many people on this station?" 42 scientists and support staff. We're not soldiers, Commander." We need to evacuate, Olivia decided. Get everyone to the emergency shuttles. As they prepared to evacuate, Grace pulled Olivia aside. Commander, something happened. Vexalia showed me everything, and now I can sense the harvesters. Olivia looked at her closely, noticing the silver shine in Grace's eyes. What do you mean you can sense them? I can feel their presence, like a cold spot in my mind. Grace pointed to the screen showing the approaching ships. There are harvesters on those ships. Not many, maybe 3 or 4, but they're there. Olivia looked from Grace to Vexalia, who had joined them. Is this possible? It is rare, Vexalia confirmed. But some humans have a genetic structure that resonates with our consciousness. When I shared my knowledge with Lieutenant Harlow, it awakened this ability in her. Could there be other humans like me? Grace asked. Possibly. It would explain why the harvesters have taken such an interest in Earth. A loud boom shook the station. They're firing on us! Brooke called out. Shields at 60%. Get to the shuttles, Olivia ordered. Now. They rushed through the corridors as more blasts hit the station. When they reached the shuttle bay, they found chaos. Station personnel were boarding the small emergency shuttles in a panic. We can't all fit in the shuttles, Dr. Taylor said. There's not enough room. I have an idea, Grace said suddenly. She turned to Vexalia. Your ship, the one we found on Europa. You said it was damaged but not destroyed. Could it be repaired? Possibly, but it would require materials we do not have. What if we could get back to it? Could you use it to call for help from your people? Vexalia's skin flickered with blue light. Yes, the communication systems were intact. I could send a distress signal that my people would hear. Olivia understood immediately. We split up. Most of the station personnel escape in the shuttles, heading in different directions to confuse the coalition ships. Meanwhile, a small team takes the fastest shuttle and makes for Europa. It could work, Brooke said. But the coalition will be watching Europa now that we found the alien ship there. We'll need a distraction, Olivia said. As they discussed plans, another blast hit the station, stronger than before. The lights flickered and gravity momentarily failed before the backup systems kicked in. We're out of time, Dr. Wells said. We need to go now. They quickly divided into groups. Most of the station personnel would escape in the shuttles, heading for various hiding places throughout the solar system. Olivia, Grace, Brooke, Dr. Wells, and Vexalia would take the fastest shuttle and attempt to reach Europa. As they boarded their shuttle, Dr. Taylor handed Olivia a small device. It's an experimental cloaking system. It won't work for long, but it might get you past the coalition ships. Thank you, Olivia said. Be careful out there. You too, Commander. The future of humanity may depend on what you do next. Their shuttle launched along with the others just as the station's shields failed. The coalition ships fired on the station, tearing it apart. The shuttle scattered in different directions, creating confusion as planned. Olivia activated the cloaking device, and their shuttle disappeared from sensors. They watched as the coalition ships pursued the other shuttles, apparently unaware of their hidden vessel. It worked, Brooke said with relief, setting course for Europa. As they traveled, Grace sat quietly, her mind full of new awareness. The knowledge Vexalia had shared was slowly integrating with her human consciousness, creating something new. What's happening to me? She finally asked Vexalia. You are becoming a bridge between our kinds, Vexalia explained. Your mind now contains fragments of Luminarch consciousness. It will change you, but not completely. You will still be human, but with new abilities. Like sensing the harvesters? Yes, and perhaps more. Suddenly, Grace gasped and clutched her head. Images flooded her mind, people around the world collapsing as she had. Silver eyes opening, new awareness dawning. Others, she whispered. There are others like me. Waking up, Vexalia looked surprised. You are connected to them? I can feel them. 37 others scattered across Earth. They're experiencing what I did. Olivia looked concerned. What does this mean? It means we're not alone, Grace said. When Vexalia shared her consciousness with me, it created a ripple effect. Others with the same genetic structure are awakening too. The resonance, Vexalia said with something like hope in her voice. This could change everything. With enough resonance, we could identify and expose the harvesters. Their discussion was interrupted by a warning from the shuttle's navigation system. They were approaching Jupiter's orbit and Europa would soon be visible. There are ships in orbit around Europa, Brooke reported. Coalition vessels. The cloaking device is failing, Olivia noted, looking at the flickering indicator. We don't have much time. I have an idea, Grace said. She closed her new silver-tinged eyes and seemed to concentrate. After a moment, she opened them again. There's a harvester on one of those ships, just one. The others are normal humans following orders. Can you communicate with the humans somehow? Olivia asked. Make them see the truth? I don't know, but I can try something else. Grace placed her hands on the shuttle's control panel. To everyone's surprise, her skin began to glow slightly, like Vexalia's did when she used her abilities. What are you doing? Dr. Wells asked, alarmed. Creating a distraction, Grace replied. Her voice sounded different, with a musical quality similar to Vexalia's. Outside the shuttle, the space around them seemed to ripple. Suddenly, multiple phantom images of their shuttle appeared on different vectors, all heading toward Europa. Maya Foster stood on the beach, feeling the warm sand between her toes. The small island in the Pacific seemed like paradise, but she wasn't here for vacation. Ever since that strange day 3 weeks ago when she collapsed in her office, seeing visions of stars and alien worlds, her life had changed completely. The silver shine in her eyes marked her as one of the resonants, humans with a genetic structure compatible with Luminarch consciousness. There were 38 of them now, scattered across Earth, all connected by a psychic link they barely understood. Through this link, Maya had received directions to this island from Grace Harlow, the first resonant who had direct contact with the alien Princess Vexalia. Grace and the others were still on Europa, trying to repair Vexalia's ship while avoiding capture by coalition forces. Meanwhile, Maya led a small team of 5 other resonants to find something hidden on this seemingly ordinary island. Are you sure this is the place? Asked Zoe Chen, another resonant. She was a former math teacher who now shared the same silver-tinged eyes as Maya. Yes, Maya replied, pointing to a cliff face on the far side of the island. There. The entrance should be there, though we won't be able to see it with normal vision. The 6 resonants made their way across the beach and up a narrow path leading to the cliff. To anyone else, the cliff would look solid, unremarkable. But to their enhanced perception, there was a shimmer in the air, like heat waves rising from hot pavement. I see it, said Peter Morgan, the youngest of their group at just 23. It's like the rock isn't quite there. Maya nodded and stepped forward, reaching out her hand. Instead of touching solid stone, her fingers passed through the cliff face as if it were just a projection. This way, she said, and stepped completely through the illusion. The others followed, and they found themselves in a tunnel that seemed to be made of the same crystal-like material as Vexalia's ship. The walls glowed with a soft blue light illuminating their path. What is this place? Zoe asked, her voice echoing slightly in the tunnel. According to the memories I received from Grace, this is one of 7 structures the Luminarch built on Earth thousands of years ago, Maya explained as they walked deeper into the tunnel. They called them anchors. They're partially phased out of normal space-time, which is why humans never discovered them. Why did they build them? Peter asked. They're like safe houses, places where Luminarch visitors could stay while observing Earth. They also serve as connection points to the Luminarch communication network that spans the galaxy. The tunnel opened into a large chamber that took their breath away. The ceiling arched high above them, covered in what looked like a map of stars. The walls were etched with strange symbols and images that seemed to move slightly when viewed from different angles. In the center of the chamber stood a crystal platform with a glowing blue orb floating above it. It's beautiful, whispered Lily Park, another member of their team. Maya stepped toward the platform. This is what we came for. The Quantum Forge, what does it do? Asked Ben Wilson, who had been quiet until now. It can create weapons capable of harming the harvesters. Normal weapons pass right through them because they exist partially in another dimension, but weapons made by this forge can affect them. How do we activate it? Zoe asked. That's the hard part. It requires the presence of a Luminarch Royal and a human resonant, working in perfect synchronicity. Maya looked around at the others. That's why we need to contact Vexalia and bring her here. But she's on Europa, Peter pointed out, and the Coalition is hunting her. How do we get her here? Maya walked around the platform, studying the orb. This place exists outside normal space-time. In theory, we could use it to create a temporary portal between here and Europa. In theory? Ben didn't sound convinced. I don't have all the answers, Maya admitted. The knowledge I received is fragmentary. But I know this is important. This could be the key to fighting back against the harvesters. As they discussed their options, something strange began to happen. The air in the chamber seemed to thicken, and the star map on the ceiling shifted, showing new configurations. "Something's changing," Lily said, looking up. A spot in the center of the chamber began to glow brighter. The air shimmered and twisted, forming what looked like a hole in reality itself. Through this hole, they could see another place, a crystal chamber similar to theirs, but clearly somewhere else. And standing in that distant chamber was Vexalia, along with Grace, Olivia, Brooke, and Dr. Wells. "You found it?" Vexalia's voice came through clearly, though it had a strange echo. "The Pacific anchor. How is this possible?" Maya asked, amazed. "We were just talking about trying to reach you." "The anchors are connected," Vexalia explained. "When enough resonance gather in one, it activates the network. We are still on Europa in my ship. The Coalition doesn't know about the chamber at the ship's core." Olivia stepped forward on the other side of the portal. "We don't have much time. The Coalition has the ship surrounded. We can't repair it enough to fly, but we managed to activate some of its systems. We need to bring you through," Maya said. "The forge here requires your presence to activate it." Vexalia nodded. "I will come. The others must stay to maintain the portal from that side." "Is it safe?" Grace asked, looking concerned. "Safe enough," Vexalia replied, "though time moves differently in the anchors. What seems like minutes here might be hours outside." Vexalia stepped through the portal, which shimmered and fluctuated around her. When she emerged on the other side, the portal remained open but grew smaller. "We'll keep it stable as long as we can," Grace called through the shrinking opening. "But hurry." Vexalia turned to face Maya and the other resonants. Her skin shifted through colors of blue and purple, and her silver eyes seemed to glow in the chamber's light. "The forge," she said, moving toward the platform. "It has been dormant for millennia, waiting for this moment." Maya joined her at the platform. "What do we do?" "Join your mind with mine," Vexalia said, as Grace did, but deeper. "Our consciousness must merge temporarily to activate the forge." Maya hesitated only briefly before nodding. "I'm ready." Vexalia took Maya's hands in hers. Instantly, Maya felt a rush of information flooding her mind. Stars, worlds, ancient histories, technologies beyond human understanding. She gasped at the intensity but held on. The orb above the platform began to spin and glow brighter. The entire chamber hummed with energy, and the star map on the ceiling began to move more rapidly, showing the passage of eons in seconds. The other resonants watched in awe as Maya and Vexalia seemed to glow from within, their bodies outlined in blue light. The air around them shimmered with energy. Suddenly, images appeared around the chamber, projections showing Earth's history alongside cosmic events. They saw primitive humans looking up at the stars, unaware of visitors from those same stars watching them. They saw Luminarch ships hovering over ancient civilizations. They saw harvesters arriving, shadowy forms taking human shape, influencing events from behind the scenes. "My God," Zoe whispered. "They've been here all along. Both of them." As the images continued to flow, they showed something unexpected, a Luminarch expedition that remained on Earth, integrating with the human population thousands of years ago. "That's why some humans are resonants," Ben realized. "We have Luminarch ancestors." The forge's glow intensified, becoming almost blinding. The orb expanded, engulfing both Maya and Vexalia in light. When it receded, they stood holding what looked like weapons, crystal swords that glowed with inner light. "It is done," Vexalia said, her voice sounding tired. "These will harm the harvesters, making their energy forms vulnerable." Maya looked at the sword in her hand with wonder. "There are only two. We need more." "We can make more," Vexalia assured her. "But it takes time and energy. And we have another problem." She pointed to the portal, which had shrunk to the size of a dinner plate. Through it, they could see Olivia and the others looking worried. "Coalition forces have breached the ship," Olivia called through. "We can't maintain the portal much longer." "I must return," Vexalia said to Maya. "You and the other resonants must take these weapons and begin finding the harvesters." "Expose them. How do we find them?" Peter asked. "The weapons will react to their presence," Vexalia explained, "and your resonant abilities will grow stronger with practice. You will learn to sense them from greater distances." Before she could say more, the chamber shook violently. Dust and small crystals fell from the ceiling. "What was that?" Lily asked, looking around in alarm. Vexalia's expression darkened. They found us. The harvesters can sense the activation of the forge. Another tremor shook the chamber, stronger this time. Cracks appeared in the walls. The anchor is becoming unstable, Vexalia said. It has been dormant too long. The sudden energy surge is causing it to phase fully into normal space-time. What does that mean? Ben asked. It means this place will soon be visible to everyone, including the harvesters. We must leave. Vexalia turned to the portal, which was now barely the size of a fist. Olivia, Grace, get everyone to safety. I cannot return now. The portal is too small and I am needed here. Through the tiny opening, they could see Olivia nodding grimly. We'll find another way. Stay safe. The portal winked out of existence, leaving them alone in the increasingly unstable chamber. The sky over Earth looked strange. Olivia Reeves stood on the deck of a small fishing boat in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, looking up at the shimmering barrier that now surrounded the planet. It was barely visible most of the time, a faint iridescence like oil on water that covered the entire sky. But occasionally it would pulse with brighter colors, especially when the harvester ships tried to break through. 3 months had passed since their discovery of Vexalia on Europa. 3 months of hiding, fighting, and desperate planning. Now the final battle was about to begin. Beautiful, isn't it? Grace Harlow stood beside her, her eyes now permanently silver like Vexalia's. All the resonance had changed over these months, becoming something between human and Luminarch. Is it holding? Olivia asked. Grace nodded. For now. All 38 resonants are connected, maintaining the barrier together. But it takes enormous energy. We can't keep it up forever. Their small fishing boat was just one of a makeshift fleet scattered across the world's oceans. After the harvesters revealed themselves openly, attacking major cities with ships that seemed to appear out of nowhere, Earth's governments had finally accepted the truth. But by then, many of those governments had already been infiltrated. The Earth coalition had fractured, with some forces remaining loyal to humanity, while others followed their harvester controllers. Those still fighting for humanity had been forced to abandon traditional military bases and take to the seas, where the harvesters had more difficulty tracking them. The oceans provided some natural interference with the harvesters' ability to detect human thought patterns. Brooke emerged from below deck, carrying a tablet showing the latest sensor readings. More ships entering the solar system, she reported. At least 20 harvester vessels approaching from the direction of Mars. And our forces? Olivia asked. The remaining coalition ships are in position. Admiral Porter says they're as ready as they'll ever be. Admiral Laura Porter had taken command of the loyal coalition forces after the split. She had been skeptical about aliens and energy beings at first, but seeing the harvesters reveal their true forms during an attack on Geneva had convinced her. Olivia turned as Vexalia joined them on deck. The alien princess had become a symbol of hope for many humans, though others still feared her. Her skin glowed softly in the dim light of dawn. It is time, Vexalia said. The quantum network is ready. The quantum network was their last best hope, a system linking the 7 anchors that the Luminarch had built on Earth thousands of years ago. Maya Foster and her team had spent months activating each anchor, while Vexalia worked with scientists to adapt Luminarch technology to work with human systems. Are you sure this will work? Olivia asked. No, Vexalia admitted. This has never been attempted before. But it is our only chance to defeat the harvesters permanently. The plan was audacious. While the coalition ships engaged the harvester vessels in orbit, the resonance would channel their combined power through the quantum network to create a field that would force the harvesters to remain in physical form, making them vulnerable to conventional weapons. Meanwhile, strike teams equipped with quantum forge weapons would target the harvester leaders who had infiltrated Earth's governments and military. It's going to cost us, Grace said quietly, to maintain both the barrier and power the quantum network. Some of the resonants might not survive the strain. Vexalia's skin darkened to a deep blue. I know, I wish there was another way. Everyone volunteered, Grace reminded her. We all know what's at stake. A comm device on Olivia's belt beeped. She answered to hear Admiral Porter's voice. Commander Reeves, we're detecting movement from the harvester fleet. They're making their approach. It's now or never. Understood, Admiral. We're ready. Olivia looked at Vexalia and Grace. Let's do this. Below deck, they entered a small room that had been converted into a control center for the quantum network. Dr. Wells was already there, monitoring equipment that was a strange hybrid of human and Luminarch technology. "All resonants are reporting ready," she said as they entered. "The anchors are all online and synchronized." In the center of the room was a crystal platform similar to the ones in each anchor. Vexalia and Grace would use this to connect to the network and coordinate the resonance scattered around the world. "Remember," Vexalia said to Grace, "once we begin, we cannot stop until it is finished. The strain will be significant." Grace nodded, her face determined. "I'm ready." They stepped onto the platform together. As their hands touched, both began to glow with inner light. The equipment around them hummed with power, lights flickering as energy flowed through the systems. Through their shared consciousness, they could feel the other resonance joining them, 36 minds linking together across vast distances. Each resonant was positioned at a strategic location, either at one of the anchors or at a place where the Earth's natural energy fields were strongest. As their minds merged, they could see through each other's eyes, experiencing multiple perspectives simultaneously. Maya was at the Pacific anchor with her team. Other resonants were positioned in the Himalayas, the Amazon rainforest, the Sahara Desert, Antarctica, and many other locations. All were now connected in a vast mental network coordinated by Grace and Vexalia. In orbit, the battle began. The harvester ships attacked the coalition fleet, firing weapons that seemed to bend space itself. The human ships responded with conventional weapons enhanced with Luminarch technology, creating explosions that rippled across multiple dimensions. Through the resonance shared vision, Olivia could see the battle unfolding. It was chaos, with ships maneuvering and firing in the space around Earth. The barrier created by the resonance flared with color each time a harvester weapon struck it, but it held. "Now," Vexalia's voice echoed through the network. "Channel the energy. Focus it through the anchors." The resonance complied, directing their combined mental energy through the 7 anchors. The crystal structures began to glow brightly, visible even from space as 7 points of light on Earth's surface. Beams of energy shot upward from each anchor, meeting in the upper atmosphere to form a glowing web that spread across the planet. In cities around the world, the harvesters who had taken human form suddenly found themselves trapped. The energy field from the quantum network forced them to remain solid, preventing them from shifting between dimensions as they normally could. Their disguises flickered and failed, revealing their true forms, dark, shadowy beings with glowing red eyes. Strike teams that had been waiting for this moment moved in, armed with quantum forge weapons. The fighting was fierce and desperate. In Washington, London, Beijing, Moscow, and other capitals, battles raged as humans fought to reclaim their world from the infiltrators who had manipulated them for so long. On the fishing boat, Olivia watched the monitors showing reports from around the world. "It's working," she said in amazement. "They can't hide anymore." Dr. Wells looked concerned as she checked the readings from the quantum network. "The power drain is massive. The resonance can't maintain this for long." Through the mental link, they could feel the strain on the resonance. Some were already weakening, their consciousness flickering in the network. But they held on, determined to see this through. In orbit, the tide of battle began to turn. Without the ability to phase between dimensions, the harvester ships became vulnerable to the coalition's weapons. One by one, they were damaged or destroyed. The few that remained attempted to retreat, but found themselves unable to leave the solar system due to a blockade of newly arrived ships. The Luminarch fleet. Vexalia's voice was filled with emotion. "They received my message. They have come." Through the shared vision, they could see them. Hundreds of crystal ships, similar to Vexalia's but larger and more powerful. They had entered the solar system and were now engaging the remaining harvester vessels. With the arrival of the Luminarch fleet, the space battle was quickly decided. The harvesters were overwhelmed, their ships destroyed or captured. On Earth, the strike teams reported success in most major cities, though fighting continued in some areas. "We've won," Brooks said, watching the reports come in. "We actually won." But their victory came at a cost. As the quantum network was deactivated, several of the resonants collapsed, their minds and bodies pushed beyond endurance. Maya and her team at the Pacific anchor reported 3 casualties. Similar reports came in from other locations. On the boat, Grace collapsed as the connection was severed, blood trickling from her nose and ears. Dr. Wells rushed to her side, checking her vital signs. She's alive, Dr. Wells reported, but her brain activity is erratic. All the residents who survived will need time to recover. Vexalia remained standing, though her skin had dulled to a pale gray color. It is done, she said quietly. The harvesters are defeated. Those that remain will be hunted down by my people. The following days were a time of both celebration and mourning. Humanity had survived, but many had been lost in the fighting. The true extent of the harvesters' infiltration became clear as their agents were exposed in governments, militaries, and corporations around the world.